This is In the Middle with Josh and Sarah Siders. We get it. You're probably going through something that's asking you to dig deep, think differently, and hold on against the odds.
So these are our thoughts about starting new things, shutting some things down, and being with you, right there in the middle.
Welcome back to the In the Middle podcast, the podcast for those of us who haven't arrived yet. I'm Sarah.
Josh, glad to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, and speaking of arrivals and destinations, we're thinking about vacations this week. So
That's right.
We're thankful to our sponsor, Midway Comfort Adventures. For those of us who are in midlife and who need to be able to use filters like how thick is the mattress, at least a minimum of 18 inches of comfort, or, kind of ambient noise proximity. There's filters for how close am I to a bar or a college kid neighborhood or an amphitheater.
Does it have a noise machine or do I have to bring my own?
Right, exactly. All of those things. Does it have extra vanity space for all of my pillboxes?
And do I have a separate vanity space from her altogether?
Absolutely. And of course, proximity to your local supplement store, a yoga studio, and a grocery store. So Midway Comfort Adventures knows how to make midlife people comfortable on their adventures and help you filter for exactly the right destination. Yeah, exactly. Because we know what it's like when you take a vacation in midlife. It is not.
It's true.
You can't just... they automatically filter out anything that isn't a house or a condo by itself. Yeah. So they're never going to suggest a room in a basement in someone's house. No. You're never going to see that on.
No, I would like to not be murdered.
Comfort Adventures. Right. You're never going to worry.
I have work on Monday.
You're never going to accidentally be in somebody's grandma cottage in the backyard. It's totally your own property automatically. We know. Know. They know their audience.
It's funny because a little preview for the episode here. I used to do a lot of the booking for our trips, and I love a good deal. So I would try and figure that out. And I think we both got more particular, but in particular, you got more particular with said amenities and accommodations. So now you pretty much book
I do.
Yeah.
I know what I'm looking for, and I can read between the lines.
True.
It is really interesting. I remember you booked a lower cost place and went to Nashville.
Yeah.
And it was one of the first trips I took after the kids were born.
Yeah.
So I was.
It was a house.
It was a house, but the neighborhood was there was not other Airbnbs in that neighborhood. Let's just say that.
Okay.
It wasn't like a travel destination.
It was sketchy.
It just was what?
Which is why I got a good price.
My anxiety was very high, but it was already high.
Yeah, true. So. Also things you find out in midlife.
We were not in midlife, though. I was postpartum.
That's true.
But for a lot of us millennials, Gen Xers, we go right from being postpartum into perimenopause. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because we're having kids later.
Yeah.
And so this hormone disruption is just basically nonstop for 20 years.
Yeah.
So fun. So fun. So thank you to Midway Comfort Adventures for helping people who are midway through life stay comfortable on their adventures. Speaking of.
Yes.
Okay. It changes, right? How you want to travel.
Oh, yeah.
Where you want to travel changes in midlife. So
let's talk about that.
Let's talk about what we were willing to tolerate.
Oh, man.
When we were in our 20s, because you're just what?
Yeah.
So do you have a memory of a trip you took in your 20s?
Several.
What were you willing to tolerate?
My senior year, several of us from our fraternity did a road trip down to Panama City Beach.
Okay.
And it was fun, but it was 24 hours.
You drove straight?
In the car. Yeah. There were in my little blue Saturn, because I had
You drove your car?
Yeah.
What?
So we packed four of us. We did Cannonball Run down there. So there were 4 of us, and we took 6-hour shifts.
Okay.
thereabouts.
Yeah, that's good.
And so,
Wow.
yeah, but it was.
Oh my
Oh
gosh. Okay, why? What
It
did
was
you
just
do there?
smelly.
It was
I mean,
smelly. Okay, yeah.
we pulled out of the car and hit the beach.
So where did you stay?
We had like a hotel.
So would
Beach
it have
hotel.
been Midway Comfort Adventures approved?
Probably not. Well,
I can't
if
believe
we were going, okay, now here's the other thing,
Okay.
and maybe we'll get into this a little bit later. Depends what part of the country or which country you're in. Because I think
Okay.
there's a certain sense of like, I'm willing to tolerate a little bit more, say in Sayulita, Mexico,
Right.
that I wouldn't want to do in Bolinas, California.
Yes,
Or maybe
fair
we would
enough.
actually.
Yeah,
And
we
we get
love
that too.
going.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like, it kind of depends. Like, if I'm going to Boston, I'm going to stay in a guest room at my friend's house or something.
Yes, shout out to
yeah.
Anne Ryan.
Boston. But, you know,
Yes.
like, so it was,
Yes.
it was a budget beach hotel.
Okay, right.
And there we were piled into the rooms.
It would not. I just want people to understand the exacting standards of Midway Comfort.
Oh, totally. Okay, so
Thank you.
it was not up to. It was not. We would not do that as a family.
Doesn't sound like it.
So
Does
but it was fine when we were 23 with a bunch of bros hitting the beach.
right.
And
So
it
road
was
trip,
fun. It was-
budget hotel,
Yeah.
and you're kind of getting down there for like a few $100s. So
Yeah,
half the
pretty
money is
much.
spent on like lodging and travel,
Yeah,
and then the other half spent on beer.
pretty much.
I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
That was what it was like back then.
So
Yeah, I mean, so I'm thinking about a trip that I took with my friend Danielle right after we got done. I got done with college, and I guess I'd done one internship. And so I was like 24 or 25, and she was going out to California. A friend of mine or whatever acquaintance from high school had started a record label out there in LA. So I was like, hooked her up with this label, and she needed somebody to drive out there with her because she wanted her car. She was like, okay, I didn't have a job or a car at the time. Like I had a month where I didn't have anything.
yeah,
So I just was like, sure, I'll drive with you. And then she was going to fly me back.
yeah.
So it was just the two of us driving to California from
Yeah.
Kansas City.
Yeah.
And her car was like this grandma, like a Cutlass Supreme, like a, mid-sized grandparent sedan Buick. Okay. And so we didn't really know, like, that's not a mountain car.
Yeah.
Right. So we found out it wasn't a mountain car in the middle of Utah, in the desert, and her car stopped. And so we were just stopped working, it was too high of elevation, I guess. We were at like 7,500 feet. And we tried to call for like a local police or whatever.
Yeah.
There was no town nearby.
Yeah.
We were 75 miles from like one town and I think
Scary.
90 from another.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, we like called her dad, but like there's nobody that was coming for us, right?
Yeah.
Because the police in the other towns told us that nobody could come for us. So we like pray over the call.
Right.
We prayed like, Lord, do something. I don't know. We prayed desperate college girl prayers.
Yeah.
And we get back in the car, turn the car on, and no joke, there was a semi truck that pulls up in front of us, and the semi driver starts walking toward us like a horror movie, except that we drive away because our car had just started. Oh my God. I know we just talked about that story where like I'm not having near-death experiences on a regular basis. I just want people to understand that someone's not always chasing me, but I have all these stories. It was so funny. So anyway, we drive it to the nearby town, and it needs to stay like overnight. Like it needs overnight stay at the mechanic. So we don't have like any money. So I don't know where we were going to sleep. I'm not sure what we were going to do. I think we were just going to keep driving, and alternate.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, we're going to like cash barter with this, hotel. And, I wasn't thinking about bed bugs or whatever. I think I got a hotel room for like $20 or $30.
Oh yeah. Got your money's worth.
I was really proud of myself for like bartering for that or negotiating with them. I'm like, here's what cash I got. And so we just like stayed at this crappy place, went and got her car, and then kept driving.
Yeah.
And we did have some cool accommodations. We had
Yeah.
someone's condo like a block from the beach once we got
That's
to LA, so that was not bad. But it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you just wouldn't put up with that now.
right.
Right?
Right.
Like just the uncertainty
Right.
of everything. Like you wouldn't be like, oh, I hope this car can make it through the mountains, cross your fingers. You know, all of those pieces, you would plan ahead.
right.
But how do you
Right.
know to plan ahead? Stuff like that.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
So yeah, I've had I had tons of stuff like that. I just loved like adventure and
Sure.
let's just get on a plane, let's get in the car. I mean, multiple times I did that. But then, you know, yeah, eventually you don't want to do it anymore. So fast forward to now, 20 some years later, maybe your ideal vacation.
Yeah.
What are the non-negotiables or mostly non-negotiables for you? Maybe it's a destination, but also like,
Yeah.
what are the accoutrements that you got to have?
Okay, I'm gonna make it a little bit complicated. It kind of depends.
Of course.
It
Yeah.
kind of depends on what I'm going for.
Okay, I
Like,
think you're right.
there's a type of vacation where it's like I want to get off the grid.
Okay.
I want to disconnect.
Mhm.
I want to decompress. I want to detox
Yep.
from terminally online stuff.
Yeah.
And so, we've been on one of those.
Yeah.
And it was really nice to like just be slowed down near the beach, eating good food and having very spotty to no Wi-Fi. And that was really nice.
Are you
to
talking about
just-
Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rico was
Yeah.
really great
Mhm.
like that. It was at a resort and a retreat center, and yeah, it was just really nice to kind of be have breakfast brought to us and all that stuff, and then go kind of like explore.
Yes.
You know,
But there was also like a snake and like a giant tarantula looking spider.
yeah, there was wildlife.
So it was like sometimes the wildlife would visit us.
Yeah,
But like,
so that's okay. We knew what we were getting into.
Yeah, that's true.
There's also a sense in like, so that's one preferred way to do it. The other preferred way, like I like the mountains a lot. I like mountain towns.
Yeah.
Like sitting in little
Yeah.
pubs or coffee shops
Yeah.
and trying new things and reading a book and that sort of thing. Or working remote if I'm able to. So not a complete vacation, but if you need to hop on a call and field some things and that sort of thing, but you still kind of have the freedom to like, okay, let's go hit the trail right after this.
Yes.
So that's really fun.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, that it does depend on context and the goal for sure. I agree. Because sometimes you're like, you do want to go off the grid and you're willing to tolerate like a little bit more of a situation that's a little more rugged, right? So at the
Right.
retreat center was also on like a working farm.
Yeah.
It was like a tropical farm.
Yeah.
So all this fruit and just a really interesting topography. And so in some ways was elevated, in some ways rustic. And I do think it does depend. I think even like now I feel less anxious about travel. So it's not anxiety. It does tend to be like, I want to get a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, I think I would feel less stressed out about tent camping now
Yeah.
than I did when the kids were tiny.
Right.
And I was like so worried about our safety in a way that I don't feel now. So it does feel like it switches a little bit like, oh, I could do something rugged, but usually sleep feels like so important for everything. So I kind of, that's like a minimum for me.
Yeah.
I like the beach and the mountains as well. And usually I like tropical destinations, but I do always love the West Coast, just in general, the American West Coast and specifically Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
I think for me, like, I do prefer something that's more quiet. But if we're like, okay, we're going to the city, right? We're going to Nashville or we're going to New York and we're like in the city and like that's the intent. I think so much of it has to do with like creating an experience on purpose, not just leaving details to, I think when we went on our baby moon, like even when we were on our baby moon. Do you remember that? Like, I don't think we had a hotel figured out for the first night.
Right. Yeah.
And we were trying to figure it out last minute.
Driving around.
I mean, I
seeing
guess we
what
were in our
was
late 20s, but it's like so dumb.
Yeah.
It's like, why did we, why did we not figure that out before?
Yeah.
I think I just thought, oh, a few years ago, I did this with my friend.
Right.
We just found a hotel. Well, I think it was late at night. I mean, it
was pre-smartphones everywhere.
right.
And like
You
being able to
couldn't,
just something up
couldn't
quick. So like driving from place to place.
my God,
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It's different now. It's different.
It definitely is easier to do things like that and to even be like perhaps a bit more spontaneous.
Yeah.
And yet I want to be less spontaneous, right? Because it's just like I want to,
Yeah.
There's something about being prepared that lets you have fun and have some margin.
Yeah. So
So
why do you think things change? Why speculate for a minute when you're, young and spontaneous and just kind of like, let's go, not
yeah.
much money, let's see what we can do with it. To fast forward to now, and it's like, I don't want ambiguity. I want to plan this. I want to know what I'm getting. I want fine, let's do the Holiday Inn over some random Airbnb in downtown or whatever. Why is that we have landed in this place?
I mean, I think that as you get older, you just accumulate a bigger data set, right?
Right.
And so at the center of like good experiences is a certain amount of like cleanliness, predictability, proximity to certain things.
Yeah.
And, when you're young, you're more on a budget and you don't know. You don't have the data set. You have like a scatter shot of like, oh yeah, I stayed at this place with my parents. I did this thing with my friends.
Yeah.
I stayed in that random hotel one time by myself. And I've done these things and there's no real like trend, right? But I think you can put together a trend. Like we talk about fluid versus crystallized knowledge.
Right.
And I think that to a degree, it's like, I know that when they say this word in the description, what they really mean, right? When they say cozy, they mean cramped. When they say,
rustic, it means there's no roof.
right. Or like that, maybe it's not new, right? So maybe it's a little bit, I don't know if you'd say dirty, but just kind of like not new. Maybe they would say like proximity to something and it's like, well, that means it's going to be really loud, right?
Right.
So there's just these things that you eventually know, like in the way that our kids will be like, well, how do you know that? And you're like, I have like 15 to 100 data points that I'm pulling from right now that I can't fully explain.
Right.
So I just know something.
Yeah.
And so I think like that just knowing from all of those things as experiences, that's what makes you more precise. And the other part is like, you aren't going to get good night's sleep if you accidentally have to sleep in your car or you're going to camp on the beach or whatever. Like it doesn't feel as fun to do those things.
Right.
There's just more like awareness.
Right.
And again, I think also you're dealing with old age or like middle age aches and pains.
Well, that's what I was going to say is like, if I don't have a certain, accommodations like a couple pillows to be placed behind my head and I'm going to pay for it the next day. Or, if this mattress,
so true.
If I got to sleep on the ground, I don't have a sleeping pad for the tent, I'm going to pay for my back is just going to be killing me for the next day. So you do. It's not just knowing how to read the descriptions. It's also like, if I don't have like the XYZ, the rest of the week is going to be hell for me.
It's so true.
And
I
so
think had that happen.
Yeah, totally. And so I would also add just overall, my prefrontal cortex has fully developed.
Yeah.
Which I didn't have it until, theoretically 25. Some would argue 35. I don't know.
Some would argue.
So now that I have that bad boy, I go, yeah, no, that doesn't sound fun. That I can think about my thoughts and go,
oh my gosh,
that sounds stupid.
Yeah.
Why would I come up with that? So
yeah, no, it's so true. You do have, you have all your working parts. But I think that the toggle for me is like, as I often say, I used to be fun. And I think, isn't that Miley Cyrus's song?
Yeah.
I used to be young.
Yeah.
I used to be fun.
Well, that's
And
it.
I'm like, Miley, no, you're like 33 or 34. Like
Just
you
wait.
can't be like I mean, she did live hard, but
Right.
I'm like, Miley can't be singing that song. But I feel that because as you get older and you do know more,
Yeah.
right? You're
Yeah.
like living out the knowledge of good and evil, right? The tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Like you know stuff
Yeah.
and you can't not know it. And so then you're like, oh, you just all of that knowing, all of that predicting that your brain
Sure.
is doing, it can kind of be like take away a little bit of the fun. I used to just absolutely love getting on a plane. Like, and
Yeah.
I didn't care
Yeah.
if there was a layover. I didn't care.
Right.
I was like, the disruption was part of the adventure. And I know that's not how most people even would have seen it in their 20s, but like I loved it. Anytime I was on a plane, I was having a really interesting conversation with someone. It was so fun for me. The whole entire
Yeah.
experience was fun. I would like fantasize about driving past the airport, going to the parking lot, walking in there and getting on any plane.
Yeah.
That was how much I loved it. Then I had kids. And all of a sudden, like how I felt about myself
Yeah.
and them, I was like, will they be okay? Will I be okay? Will they be okay without me?
Right.
And so it increased this travel anxiety
Yeah.
that a lot of moms can relate to.
Yeah.
So you have that. And now I don't have that. Like the kids are older and we go on more trips together. And it's kind of like, I feel better.
It's good.
But now I live in this body, right? That's like a little wary, a little cautious, has been through some stuff. And so it's like, oh, I'm just starting to get maybe what might be adventure back, but now I'm too crotchety to embrace it. So I am trying to think through like that being one of my values.
Yeah.
Adventure. It's like, how do I approach this situation from an adventurous perspective? Because things do happen and you don't want to be curmudgeonly about it.
Right.
And I think you even have to like take care of your body so you can have a good time.
I'm curious, what are your top non-negotiables, but like particular to you? What are your top like funny but real non-negotiables for when you travel? It could be going to Kansas City, it could be going to Mexico, but it's like I gotta have this or know that this is available to me.
Yeah. I mean, you said pillows, and I was like, oh yeah, because I have a whole like sleeping setup that I developed from when I was pregnant.
It's a thing.
And yeah, like I have my body pillow, which I can't travel with, but
You have before.
I did, but then I accidentally left.
We had a casualty one time.
It got left. So then I had to get a new one. Josh probably just like, oh, you're probably like, oh, good.
Get a foot of bed back.
No, because it does like support my spine. That's an old person thing to say, but it does. It really, I love it. And it is. And I have no qualms about this because I got it when I was pregnant. So it was like justification. And then I've just been like, it's so funny. It's so funny. So the pillow feels major. I think like temperature is also really big. I just run hot.
Yeah.
So if they're like, oh, we don't have AC or whatever, I'd be like, oh, that's going to be really rough for me.
Yeah.
If I can't get my temperature right because I can't sleep if I'm too hot or too cold. And I mean, for sure, I need to be able to tell that this place is very clean. I have in early days of Airbnb, we were probably a pretty early adopter. We stayed in some Airbnbs that weren't super clean. Like I would go through and clean them again. I never want to clean an Airbnb, right? I don't like, I'm paying you to do that.
Right.
So I will I go through and read the reviews and I like do all that because I do not want to clean someone's bathroom or their shower.
No.
It is extremely unnerving. So those things I think are the biggest ones for me. I don't know if I'd call that like too peculiar. I bet you would know. You'd be like, oh, it's this idiosyncrasy.
You gotta have something. You gotta have something that covers your eyes.
Right. Those are things I just bring with me.
Well, I know, but it's like unique to you.
I have to have,
but not essential.
My light block.
Yeah. So for me, it's I don't know that it's too peculiar. I mean, I have to have some pretty good headphones or earbuds to block out noise.
Yep. To block out your family.
and to signal to other people when I'm not in a chatty mood, like on the plane or whatever. So
Oh
Not
my
always like that, but I
gosh.
do. I do like to travel with a soundtrack, like have something that I'm listening to, a podcast, an audiobook, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Watch a movie on the plane, that sort of thing. So
So
you
you're
got to
talking about
have
like en
something.
route. This is en route.
Well, we're even there, or we're gonna
Okay.
have in there. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I got to have my iPad with some
Hmm.
movies and my Kindle loaded up, ready to go. So I know that's not too
Your tech
familiar, but
and your
absolutely
media.
have it.
Yeah, you do too.
But I also travel with an inflatable camp pillow.
Oh, the
So
little one
this
that goes
is
on your.
not even the one the one that is just flat,
Uh,
small and flat is actually better because I can put it behind my back when I
oh,
need to, or if there's not enough pillows. Like I gotta have two pillows to like
yep.
prop up my head and support my
Hmm.
neck, so I can supplement with that. So that's probably the
Oh my
weirdest
gosh.
thing I think. But I tend to be like really prepared, and I try
Hmm.
not to overpack. But I tend to like think of the things that our family's going to need
You do.
and have that available. So that would be maybe particular to me is that I've thought about the things that we need, and it's like, yep, I got that.
Yeah, yeah.
So
You're good at
when
this.
we went to Mexico, I had a small travel cooler that I took
Oh yeah,
that like flattens out. It's the
yeah.
best things from
It's so
REI.
great.
So cool. It's like kind of lunch box, a little bit
Yeah,
oversized,
yeah.
but it flattens out so I can pack it into my backpack
And then
and
you
take
have
it out.
like the little travel blanket and a little travel towel.
Totally. Yeah.
Yep.
So I got the gear. So
He's the guy that like loves to have everything zip up into itself. Like you just got this like rain, like hiking rain
yeah,
jacket,
yeah.
and you're like, I just wish it would zip up into itself. And then you like cram it into the pocket and zip it up.
Like
It's zip up.
or
And I was like,
yeah,
what?
yeah.
What just
I like the
happened?
utility and kind of like
Yeah.
the realism of things like
And
that.
then it's
So
like this basically everything, as you know, is black that you wear.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I was like, oh, good. Now it looks like everything else that you own and you'll never find it. But he will know, and I wouldn't.
yeah.
But you've got all these little, it's not packing cubes, but everything's just like folded.
Some I have packing cubes
Okay,
that,
see?
yeah.
I mean, it is exactly what you think it is, guys. It's that organized. It's like all of that. And
Yeah,
I'm not like
yeah.
so haphazard. I mean, I used to be. Um, but I am not
But
like
you've
that.
definitely gone from whatever I can fit in a backpack to, well, I have to have the rolling mat. Like I have to take all
I
this.
have to take it.
This is it.
Yeah,
So anyway,
I would say I'm still like pretty minimalist. I have like a mid-size. Oh, no, I think it's a carry on. It's like a hard shell, my little
yep,
tangerine colored hard
yeah,
shell. And I've traveled to quite a few places with
yeah,
that
it's
for
cool.
trips.
Piece, yeah,
And even when we went to Puerto Rico a few years ago, I packed. We were like, okay, we're going light,
yeah,
so we just did backpacks.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
We've done that a couple times.
because it was like that was a between jobs kind of season.
Yeah,
So we were like, all right, we're gonna budget trip this. And it was really fun.
it was. I want to go back.
It was, oh my gosh, same. It was so fun.
It was cool because I don't like waiting for luggage in the airport.
I don't
I
like
don't
waiting
like checking
wondering
bags
if
and
it's gonna come.
exactly.
It
So
feels
I
like
have
you're
my
yeah.
I like you said, I wear black a lot, so I have everything matches.
I
So
know, basically, I know, it's so true.
so I'm curious, when you think about us, we probably have just a few minutes to
Yep.
do this.
Yep.
Um, what are one or two of your favorite trips that we've taken?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think right now, like the top two family trips are gonna be our sabbatical road trip that we did
Yeah,
a few years ago
yeah,
with the kids.
top
And
tier. That was
so
yeah,
fun. I mean, that was right. There was that one time where we were sleeping on the just open like meadow and on that ranch
uh,
outside of Yellowstone. And all there was like a cold water spigot.
and that was a pleasant surprise because they didn't list that on the hip camp. It's
The
like
fact that there was
we
water.
didn't even know there was going to be running water, and it was like,
Yeah.
wow, this is so great.
And we had like little kids. So
Yeah,
we were
it was
definitely like,
epic.
but then we also had an Airbnb. We stayed with friends. We tent camped, and then there was the what was that called? The little covered wagon
Yeah, it was a covered wagon.
outside of Mount
Yeah,
Rushmore.
it was fun.
So, getting to take you guys to my childhood home and
Yeah,
the beach where I
it was
grew up going, like all of that was so special. Um, and then seeing my brothers,
yeah,
at different points. So it was just so fun. It was an amazing trip. And then, going to my brother's wedding in Sayulita this year.
Yeah.
Taking the kids surfing, like just that experience. I think I would like do those things again. Like if
Yeah.
someone was like, "Do you
Yeah.
guys want to do these things?" I'd be like, "Yes, I will do."
Sign me up.
I don't know that I would sleep near the forest in the on the ranch, like just out in the open and be like, "Oh, no bears get me," I don't think I would do that this time. I would probably do
That
like,
was
you
awesome.
would?
I totally would.
Okay.
That
Well,
was so cool.
if that was the case, I think I would just get like a bigger tent. We could all sleep in one. Because
Yeah,
when the
okay.
kids were young, when we tent camped, I would have James, you'd have John.
Yeah, totally.
But I would just prefer everybody be in
Yeah, we could do that.
for safety purposes. See, look
Yeah.
at me. I'm making caveats. I can't. I want to be like. That's the thing. I want to be able to do this. I still have like a memory of myself,
Yeah.
doing these things. But yeah, those are my two.
Those are good.
What
Yeah.
about you?
No, I would say those for sure. We mentioned Puerto Rico.
Uh-huh.
So
That
I
was
really
way
have
up there.
liked traveling together.
Yeah,
Just-
I was thinking about
the
family
kids
trips,
have
but
been
yeah.
so great. So I would,
They are
and if
great.
it was just you and me, definitely Puerto Rico.
Mhm. So fun.
Really, really cool. And then I enjoyed Miami. Like
Miami
we
was so
took months together, and then we tacked on like a few days. And then driving down to Miami, so cool. Little Havana, going, having what like everybody stops at 3 p.m. to do
a siesta.
it's not exactly, it's like a coffee break. Everybody
Oh,
breaks the coffee.
I
But we were
forgot.
in the cafe, key lime pie. in
Oh my
Miami.
God, it was so great.
Brought our passports because we're like,
Did you go to Cuba?
maybe we'll go to
They had
Cuba.
just decided.
And it's
they
like
reopened it.
that's where we were at.
I
So
know,
that
this
was
is
that was a lot of
We did not go to Cuba because we were a little bit concerned about being detained, and we had a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old.
yeah. But
I don't know where
it was super
now.
cool. The salsa dancing and the
We went to that cigar room.
yeah,
That was fun.
That was super cool.
Yeah, there was a lot of like just really. It was really fun. We had that convertible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that was a great trip.
So that's what I
we've
would
had
say.
some good times. I think like I'm grateful that the kids travel well and are very adaptable.
Yeah, they're so fun to travel with.
They are.
They have this, they really got from you a sense of adventure.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I feel like I
And-
lost.
No, they're so good. They're so good at it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. They are.
it's fun to explore with them. And I remember like the first night we were in Sayulita, and we're at this restaurant, and they're like the only kids there.
Yep.
And it's all of your extended family that was at the wedding, and they're at this table, and they're sucking down Cokes and lemonades like it's going out of style. But they're like, we were promised tacos.
It was a seafood restaurant.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit.
And I go, all right,
elevated.
boys, let's go. And
Yeah.
so we set out to go find street tacos.
Blowing this off
And
the stand.
we're I have no idea where we're going, but we're driving around on this
On the
golf
golf cart.
cart.
Yeah.
You're having fun with your family. So we're like, boys, we're going. And, so
Yeah.
it was so fun to just we'll try here. This looks like it might be good. So,
Oh my gosh. It was so much fun. Yeah, there was so much of that. The golf cart was so awesome. Like how
Yeah.
you get around in Sayulita with a golf cart is like the best because it's not like the city's not made for golf carts, right? Like, the cobblestone
no.
streets that are like haven't been, fixed, and you're just like,
But that's part of it.
It
Part of the
is.
adventure, just diving, people and motorcycles.
it's such a wonderful like amalgamation of like different culture and like
Yeah.
times,
Yeah.
like different eras
I'm
of
seeing a pattern
Okay.
like Sayulita, Miami, Puerto Rico. Like,
Yeah, we do.
The Gulf is like
We do
really-
love, so it's
Well, I
not,
guess it was-
Sayulita's on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I would say that for me, like I do love I love the Caribbean, and I do love the West Coast. I
It's
do.
true.
I do. I didn't realize Sayulita was on the West Coast. And then I was like, oh, okay, I get more now.
Yeah.
And I do, when obviously on our honeymoon we went to Cozumel, and that's
Oh,
on that.
yeah,
on
yeah.
That was,
Didn't
we had a lot.
talk about that.
The honeymoon was like
So
super
funny.
I think
Yeah.
we've talked about it in a previous episode, but
Yeah.
yeah, we've had done some fun things like that, but no, we haven't gone like super far, right? We haven't gone like really into Central or South
Yeah.
America,
Right.
Europe with the kids, which I know we'll do
Yeah.
as they get older.
That's
But
right.
yeah, it's been fun. I know
Yeah.
we're kind of looking at doing something like that again around the holidays
Yeah.
as a
For it's
don't tell the kids.
No spoilers.
But yeah, this summer we're keeping it kind of local. We kind of planned that.
Yeah.
Like our families respectively are doing more local stuff, and then since we had our doggy pass away, and we knew this would probably be his last summer, we didn't plan anything besides this in Colorado. But yeah, we have some more things planned, and that'll be fun.
Yeah, good. So
yeah.
Yeah. So what are you reading, watching, listening to?
Well, we haven't started yet. We just finished up Shrinking.
Yeah.
It's like I really hope they have season 3, you guys. I, as a therapist, highly recommend. But we are planning to start. You're gonna let me start The Bear with you.
Yes.
So from season 1.
I'm gonna do.
And highly recommended.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get into that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I just started recently, just because I like when I'm like locked in on the computer, but I'm doing admin. I like to have something off to the side. So Modern Family, I started watching because I keep seeing these like clips on
Really?
and I'm like, this is hilarious. So I never really sat and watched
I
it.
didn't either.
Yeah, but some of the characters are just really funny.
Oh
I know
gosh,
it's been off the air for like 5 years, but it still feels really, just relevant to
Yeah.
culture and
There are some really wonderful characters in that show.
Yeah,
And I don't know
yeah.
why I didn't watch it.
yeah,
It was just like always in the background, but I never really got
Right.
into it.
right.
So yeah, that I could see that. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have to introduce the kids to The Office.
What's giving you life right now?
Oh, I'm in the middle of like this transition, like my work is going to
Yeah.
get a little more busy. So I feel like I would say it's for the moment, I've said this before, but my bullet journal is still
Yeah, that's awesome.
really helping give me some structure. And there's been a couple days where I haven't had it, and it's like I can feel that. So,
Yeah.
definitely that. And I just got a chiropractor adjustment from Dr. Jessica
Yeah.
House. And y'all, I feel so much better today. It was an amazing
So-
reset, so highly recommend. What about you?
I think I've been in like staycation mode since yesterday.
Oh,
So I'm feeling pretty good.
oh,
A lot of my duties for the weekend and all that stuff
Yeah.
offloaded. So
oh, that's so
so-
nice.
pretty relaxed.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes, staycations are amazing.
Yeah.
Just kind of slow down.
Yeah.
So many great things. Well,
Yeah.
we'd love to hear from you. Drop in the comments on social media or wherever
Yeah.
you're listening.
What's your
Watching.
best vacation experience?
Yes.
Love to hear
And
about that.
specifically, what is that amenity that you're not willing to part ways with
Yeah.
now that you're in midlife? You have to know. Do you agree with us?
Huh.
Do you not agree? And what would you add?
Yeah.
So, the Midway Comfort Adventures is always looking for new filters because
That's right.
we are very,
That's right.
very precise. All right. Well, thank you so much for spending your time with us today, and we will see you back here next week.
Yep. See you next time.
This is the In the Middle podcast with Josh and Sarah Siders. Visit inthemiddlecoaching.co for other resources, courses, and helpful tools.